Bonjour tout le monde. So this is Suchita, back with a new webinar, your French language instructor. So back with a new webinar on a complete guide to TEF TCF Canada examination. Before we begin with this video, I would like to introduce you to my website, www.learnfrenchbysuchita.com, where you will find recorded courses for all your French language needs. We have courses for DELF A1, DELF A2, DELF B1, TEF TCF recorded course, French phonetics as well. We have special courses for our school students ranging from grade 5 to grade 8. We also have courses for university students who are enrolled in certificate course or diploma course in Delhi University. And finally, we also have courses for our school students who are aiming to appear for their DELF Preem or DELF Junior examinations. So hurry up and check it out. Okay, so let's start. First, let's look at the contents of the webinar today. I'm going to guide you what all I am going to cover today. First, number one, I'm going to tell you what is the importance of TEF or TCF Canada examination. Number two, we'll move to why you should take this examination, the reasons. Number three, all the different types of TEF examination. So it has different versions, TEF, TCF, TEFaQ, TCFQ. What are the differences between each of these examinations? Number four, what is the structure of the examination? How many questions come? How are you marked? Is there any negative marking or not? What is, how many points are you rewarded for each correct question? So we are going to look at number four. Number five, see, there are different examinations for judging your proficiency level in French. You have DELF, you have DALF, you have TEF, TCF, you have different types of examinations. So I'm going to tell you what is the difference. And if you are principally aiming for your Canadian immigration, then what is the examination that you need to take? Next, we are going to see that where exactly can you take TEF or TCF examination in India and all over the world, and how much fees you need to pay for that. Next, we are going to also see that how many points can you earn for Canadian in your Canadian PR file, how many CRS points does it award you if you clear TEF or TCF examination with a certain level, okay? Next, we are going to pass on to how long does it take to clear TEF or TCF examination, how much period is required, how many hours of studies is required if you want to clear this examination. Next, how to prepare, what are the resources, how you should prepare for this examination. Who all should give the exam? So this exam doesn't benefit only the people who are immigrating to Canada, but it is also beneficial for various other reasons. So we'll look at what all category of people does it benefit. I'm also going to share my story because I also appeared for the examination. So I'm going to share my story, my experiences, and what are the results that I got. And we are then going to move on to how we at Learn French by Suchita, we help you in exam preparation, in TEF exam preparation. What are the courses that we have? And finally, I'm going to take up the doubt clearing session, which is question and answer session. So keep all your doubts. For the end, it might be possible that your doubts are already cleared during the webinar because I am going to share a lot of information. So just keep a notebook and a pen handy with you. Let's start. The first, we are going to start with the importance of TEF or TCF exam. So here, I would not only like to talk about the importance of TEF or TCF exam, but I would like to talk about all the proficiency tests, why you should take any proficiency test concerning French, okay? So see, there are plenty of job opportunities available in the market, and if you speak French language and you have a proper certification of the French, then it puts you ahead of others in any employment. So let's say you know that you know the French language, but your employer doesn't know that you know the language. So how would you prove that you have a certain level of qualification? You have a certain level in that language. How would you prove that? So that is proved by taking any of the proficiency tests. There are so many: DILF, DELF, DALF, TEF, TCF, TCFQ, TEFaQ. There are so many examinations. Of course, for different purpose, you have different examinations, but all these examinations principally judge you on your 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, just like IELTS. So in IELTS is for English. So IELTS also judges you on your 4 skills, on 4 aspects: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Similarly, all the language proficiency tests, they judge you on 4 skills. Okay. So of course, it puts you ahead of others in any employment. By that, I mean that, let's say there are 2 candidates who are sitting for any job. And I feel that, and I've seen that, the people who know, I'm not talking here about only the French language, but I would say any foreign language. If you know, let's say Spanish, let's say German, if you know any foreign language, and if you have appeared for the proficiency test of that language, then obviously the person who knows a foreign language is given an advantage over the person who doesn't know it. Okay. So I would say the only way to ensure that you have a certain level of proficiency in the language is to sit for any proficiency test, which is of course awarded by French Ministry, which is stamped by the Embassy of France. Okay, not given by any XYZ institute, but given by Embassy. Okay, that's the importance. Let's move to the next slide. What is TEF? Now we'll move to specifically TEF and TCF. So TEF, if I tell you the full form is Test d'évaluation de français. Of course, a test which evaluates your level of French. So Test d'évaluation de français. It was started by Paris Île-de-France, CCI, in 1998. Okay, so the certificate that you get is from CCIP Paris. Okay. This examination was recognized in the year 2012. It is an exam that seeks your French language proficiency, of course, 4 areas: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And it is one of the recognized examinations because it is awarded by CCIP Paris. Okay. Next, moving on to the question that why you should take the TEF examination. So as I just told you, that TEF examination is not only taken for Canadian immigration. There are a lot of other purposes for which you can take this examination. So let's say number 1, if you want to study in France and there is a person who wants to go to study in France, and the language, the medium of communication, it's actually, I should say, if it is a French taught program. If it is an English taught program, then of course they would ask for IELTS. Then if it is a French taught program, then how would they know that, since their medium of communication during teaching is going to be French, then how they should ensure that a student knows French? So for that particular reason also, you have to appear for your TEF examination. That is number 1. Number 2, which you already know, if you are applying for immigration to Canada, then also people appear for their TEF examination. It is recognized internationally by employers and universities in Canada, France, and not just these 2 countries, but all other Francophone countries. Major Francophone countries, they give importance to TEF examination. Okay, so we'll also look at other reasons based on, like, for example, if you want to apply for French citizenship, if you want to have a French passport, then also you have to take up the TEF examination. We'll look at it in a moment. Next, let's move on to what are the different types of TEF examination. Of course, if your purpose changes, the exam also changes. So number 1, that is TEF for studies. If you want to study in France, just now in the previous slide, I told you what are the reasons. So the first reason was if you want to study in France and if you have taken admission in any of the French taught program, then you have to appear for the first examination, that is TEF for studies. Okay. Number 2, TEF for naturalization. That is actually if you are applying for French citizenship, then they ask you for this examination, which is TEF for naturalization. Number 3, TEF for resident card. If you need the resident card of France, then also they ask you for this examination, TEF Number 4, which you all know, I think that most of the students who are there with us right now are the ones who have to apply for their Canadian immigration. So that's number 4. If you want to apply for Canadian immigration, of course, it awards you a major CRS score. It awards you major CRS points. Okay, so it acts as an added benefit. Number 5, TEFaQ. There are various provinces in Canada. So if you are particularly looking to immigrating only to the Quebec region of Canada, not the whole Canada, then you appear for TEFaQ. But otherwise, if you want to, I would say that if you appear for TEF Canada examination, then it opens the entry to all the provinces of Canada, including Quebec. But if you're looking only for Quebec, then you have to appear for the TEFaQ examination. Then this examination is valid for 2 years from the date that you take the test. Okay. It doesn't have the lifetime validity. So I would say that it is just like IELTS. IELTS also has 2 years of validity. Similarly, this examination also has 2 years of validity. After that, it expires. Or if you are thinking to reapply after 2 years, then you will have to retake the examination. Okay. Moving on to the next slide, I am going to now guide you upon different purposes, different examinations that I just told you. I'm going to guide you separately for that. Number 1, TEF for studies in France. So I told you that students who are going to France for any of the French taught program, they have to appear for this examination. And they ask you basically before your admission, before your first year of a degree course, whether you're going for your post-graduation or whether you're going for your graduation or maybe MPhil, any of the program, which is a French taught program, I would say that they require before your admission, okay, when you file for your papers, okay. Now, before I move to the slide, there is a very important information that I would like to give. In TEF, there are principally 5 papers. Okay, principally there are 5 papers. So all this examination, which I'm telling you, TEF, TEFaQ, TEF for naturalization, different examinations, just I told you, they're actually 1 paper only. So TEF is 1 single paper, which has 5 different sections. So 1, that's listening, which we call as compréhension orale. Comprehension orale. So if you look at the screen, it is written oral comprehension. That's compréhension orale. That's your listening test. Next, compréhension écrite. Compréhension écrite, that's actually your reading comprehension. Okay, that's the reading section that judges your reading skills. That's number 2. Number 3, that's expression écrite. Expression écrite is the written expression. That's actually your writing exam. Number 4, that's your expression orale. Expression orale is oral expression. That's your speaking test. So I covered 4 sections: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And then there is a 5th one also, which is lexique et structure. That's actually glossary and structure. Okay. So depending upon your purpose, you give different examinations. So let's say if you have to apply for studies in France, then out of these 5 papers, you have to appear for oral comprehension. That's your listening one. Reading comprehension. That's the reading one. Written expression. That's your writing skills. And 4th is glossary and structure. That's your lexic and structure. So that means 1 paper you don't have to give here. That is the oral one. That's your expression oral. That's your speaking test. So it is the same exam, but when you appear for your TEF, the form that you have to fill, they ask you that what all papers you want to give. Okay, so for TEF for studies in France, you have to appear for 5. You have to appear for 4 skills. You do not have to appear for your speaking skills. That is not required. Okay, moving on to the next one, TEF for naturalization. Okay, which I told you for your French citizenship. If you are applying for a French citizenship and if you want to get a French passport, then you appear for TEF for naturalization. Of course, it is the same examination, but here there are 2 necessary tests: oral comprehension, which is your listening test, and then oral expression, which is your speaking test. So here, of course, it is recognized by French Ministry. I would say that if you are applying for French citizenship, if you want a French passport, then you have to appear for only 2 papers, that is listening and speaking. No other paper is required. Okay. Moving on to the 3rd one, that is TEF for resident card. Okay, if you want the resident card from the French government, then you appear for this. Here you have 4 mandatory tests. Okay, written comprehension, oral comprehension, then written expression. Written comprehension, that's your reading one, reading test. Oral comprehension, that's your listening test. Written expression, that's your writing test, and oral expression, that's your speaking test. So nowadays they have started taking ETEF. We no more have pen and paper. I have not seen people taking pen and paper. And if you ask the centers also, then they have only ETEF now. So, you know, listening, writing and reading, all 3 of them, they happen on computer. And then oral expression, which is your speaking test, of course, that cannot happen on a computer. So that's a face-to-face conversation with an examiner. So apart from that, all the 3 examinations, they are computer based. Okay. So, okay, here, before I explain the last point, I would like to tell that there are 6 levels in French, starting from A1, moving to A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2. Okay. A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2. A1 being the most basic level, C2 being the most expert level, that's close to the native speaker. Okay, so that's how it increases. So this particular examination, which you are giving for resident card, here you require the proficiency level. You have to prove the proficiency level till A2 level. So I would say that's pretty basic. Okay, so this is one single examination. TEF is one single examination which has the questions from all the levels, starting from A2, starting from A1 till C2. You have all the 6 levels of questions. But depending upon the type of questions you attempt, depending upon the score you get, they reward you the level. That I'm going to just guide you in a moment when I explain you the structure of the examination. But I can tell you that this one, for the resident card, I would say that the proficiency level that they are asking for is A2 level. That's A2. Okay. Moving on to the next one, TEF Canada. Okay, now listen to this very carefully. People who are seeking to Canadian immigration, they appear for TEF Canada. For becoming the residents of Canada, for boosting your CRS score, you give this examination, of course. Now, out of 5 papers, just now I told you there are 5 papers: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And fifth is the lexique structure, glossary and structure. So out of these 5 examination, if you are applying for Canadian immigration, you have to appear for 4 out of them. The 5th one, which is glossary and structure, that you don't have to give. So first is listening comprehension, listening you have to attempt. Second is reading you have to attempt. Then oral expression, that's the speaking one. And then the writing test, you have to appear for all 4, but not glossary and structure. Now, as I just told you that listening, reading and writing, all 3 of them, they happen on computer. And then oral expression, which is your speaking test, that's actually a face-to-face viva kind of a thing with the examiner. That's not on a computer. Okay. Now, moving on to TEFaQ. I told you there are various provinces in Canada. You know, let's say if you're applying for British Columbia, or if you're applying for Ontario, if you apply through express entry, then I would say that TEF Canada examination opens up the entry to all the provinces, including Quebec. But if you are applying only for the Quebec region, then you appear for TEFaQ. Then you must be thinking that why people appear only, why should we appear for TEFaQ? If TEF Canada opens up the entry to all the provinces, then why specifically people appear for TEFaQ? I'd like to tell you the reason. Because TEFaQ is little easier, because here you have to appear only for 2 modules. Here only listening comprehension and oral expression is required. That means the listening test and the speaking test is required. You do not have to appear for your for 4 modules. So people who are aiming only for Quebec, they go for this examination, because here they have to appear only for 2 modules out of 5 modules. However, if in TEF Canada, you have to appear for 4 modules out of 5 modules. Okay. So that's the fact if you're specifically aiming for Quebec region. The full form is Test d'évaluation du français adapté pour le Québec. So it's a test which evaluates your French, and it is adapted only for the region Quebec. Okay, now moving on to the structure of TEF Canada examination and what is the marking system. Very important, we all use. So 4 tests, I told you out of 5 tests, you have to appear for 4 tests. Starting with the reading comprehension. The reading comprehension wherein you have some passages, you have some pictures, you have some passages. You have to read them, and then there are certain questions that you have to reply to. Okay. In reading and listening test, all the questions are multiple choice. Okay, so you do not have open-ended questions here. You just have MCQs. Okay. So that means I would say that answers are already in front of you. You just have to pick the correct answer. Okay, that way it makes it a little simpler. In reading comprehension, in the reading test, you have 50 questions and you have 1 hour to answer all the 50 questions. The timer is there on your screen and the timer runs. You are rewarded out of 300 points. So that means if you have 50 questions and 300 points, so that means each question is 6 marks. Okay, so each question is 6 marks. For correct answer, you get 6 marks. For incorrect answer, you do not get any marks. You get 0. So if you see on the screen, I've written starting from 29th February 2016, there is no negative marking for TEF. Okay. They have removed the negative marking. Earlier, prior to this date, what was the rule? That for each correct answer, they used to mark 3 points. For each incorrect answer, they used to give you -1. And for each unattempted answer, unattempted question, I would say, you get a 0. So you had a fear of, whether I would be marked wrong or whether there would be any negative marking. But now, fortunately, they have removed the negative marking. So sometimes, hit and trial method also works. In some of the questions, sometimes you are confused between, let's say, whether the correct answer should be A or B. So sometimes students do hit and trial also. So without any fear of getting any negative marks, you can attempt. Okay. So just now I told you 50 questions, you have 60 minutes, and then you are rewarded out of 300 points. So that means each question carries 6 marks. Moving on to the next one, that is listening comprehension. Here you have 60 questions. Again, all the questions are MCQs. You do not have any open-ended questions. 60 questions and you have 40 minutes to answer them. Approximately 42 minutes you have. So, and then you are rewarded out of 360 points. So again, here 60 multiplied by 6, that is 360. So that means each question again is 6 marks each. Okay. So that is listening comprehension. Now moving on to the written expression. Here, of course, it cannot be MCQ because it has to be, you have to write a paragraph. So here you get 2 topics to write, section A and section B. You get 60 minutes to attempt both of them and you're rewarded out of 450 points. Nobody knows what is the exact bifurcation, that, how many marks for section A and how many marks for section B. That we do not know because nowhere they have given the exact bifurcation. But I can say that section B has more weightage than section A. It is just like IELTS. In IELTS also, section B carries more weightage than section A. Okay. Now, I can tell you that what types of topic come over here. In section A, you are given the beginning of a newspaper article. Okay. And then as a journalist, you have to imagine the ending of that article. And then you have to write about 100 words, 100 to 120 words that you need to write. And then section B, that has more weightage. That is actually, I would say section B is a formal letter writing. You have to write a letter to the journalist, to the newspaper editor. You have to write. So that's a formal letter. And for that, you have to write about 250 to 300 words. So of course, that's a longer one and that carries more weightage. Okay. Now talking about the oral expression, that's your expression orale. Speaking test. Now here also you have 2 topics. This test particularly lasts for about 15 to 20 minutes and you're rewarded again out of 450 points. Again, I would say nobody knows the exact bifurcation. That's section A, section B, how many marks you get. But section B carries more weightage than section A. Section A is actually a question and answer. It's basically, I can say that there is a newspaper advertisement in front of you. You look at that advertisement and then you have to pose questions to the examiner. Let's say you have to consider that examiner is the one who has posted that particular advertisement in the newspaper, and you are a candidate who is interested in that ad. So you have to, call the person as a client. You don't have to literally call, but you have to enact like you're calling for having more information. And then section B is about convincing your examiner. So that's actually an informal conversation. The examiner enacts the role of any of your relative or any of your friends. And there is again an ad in front of you, which you have to read, and then you have to convince the examiner for trying that particular activity. So that's actually a debate kind of a thing. That's an argument. Examiner is going to say that, no, I'm not interested in this. And then you have to convince the examiner that why you should try that particular activity. So let's just begin with TCF now. There are principally two examinations, TEF and TCF. Okay. The full form is Test de connaissance du français. I would say both the examinations share same purpose and same goal. There is no difference in terms of the goal. You can appear for TEF also, you can appear for TCF also. That's your choice. But, there is a difference in marking. There is a difference in types of questions, and there is a difference in number of questions also. I have appeared for TEF, so I am more aware about the pattern and structure of TEF examination. I haven't appeared for TCF. I can guide you more about TEF, but I can say that both these examinations, they share the same purpose and same goal. There is no difference. Even if you look at the Canadian website where you can calculate your CRS score, they ask you that, what is the second proficiency for, what is the second language test that you have taken, and you have both the options. You have TEF option also, you have TCF option also. So there is, student ask me that which one is easier, which one is difficult. There is nothing like that. Nothing like that. Both the examinations have same difficulty level. Everything is same. Okay, it's the type of question, it's the type of question, and it is the marking system which varies. And yes, I can say that in TEF there are some questions where in the listening test. In TEF, there are some questions in the listening test where you get to hear the recording twice, and in some questions you get to hear it once also. But in TCF, you only get to hear the recording once. Okay, you don't, for all the questions, they are only going to play the recording once. Okay, so those are the differences which come. But in terms of goal, they both share the same goal. And yes, both these examinations are conducted by two different organizations. Okay, so that's also one of the difference. Now, just now we covered that what are the different types of TEF. Similarly, on the same level, you have different types of TCF also. Okay, so let's say if you are appearing for academic, if you want to go for, remember I told you the first reason was if you are going if you're going to France for any of the French taught program, then you appear for the first TEF. Now here that is TCF. Okay. Then number two, that is TCF DAP. That is also for studying in France, especially for the first year undergraduate students. Number three, that TCF for French nationality. If you are aiming for a French passport, then that is TCF for French nationality. Number four is TCF Canada. So like there you have TEF Canada, here you have TCF Canada. Okay, for permanent residence and for PR in Canada, sorry. And then there you had TEFaQ. I told you that if you want to appear only for the Quebec region, if you want to apply only for the Quebec region, then you appear for TEFaQ. Similarly, here if you do the mapping, here you have TCFQ. Okay, TCF for Quebec region, if you are applying only for the Quebec region. So mapping is exactly same. There you have different types of TEF, here you have different types of TCF. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. This I just explained you, both exams share the same goals and same purposes. They are organized by different organizations. They have different marking system. The type of questions, the number of questions are different, but goal and purpose is same. Okay, both help you get the Canadian immigration. Both help you get additional CRS points in your file. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, DELF and TEF. This is also one of the most frequently asked questions, that what is the difference between DELF and TEF? Where I should give DELF and where I should give TEF, and what are the differences? So I would say First, let me just explain you for DELF, I think. So there are 6 levels: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. I just told you that A1 being the most basic level, C2 being the most advanced level. Now, the person who wants to, let's say, if today you feel that you are ready for your A1 level test, okay, and you have A1 level of knowledge, then you can register yourself for DELF A1 examination. So you have different DELF examinations for different levels. So for A1, it is going to be DELF A1. For A2, it is going to be DELF A2. For B1, it is going to be DELF B1. For B2, it is going to be DELF B2. And then for C1 and C2, the name that they have given, that's not DELF, that's actually DALF, DALF. So that's one examination only. It's the name which is changing. So we say DALF C1 and DALF C2. We do not have anything called DALF A1. No, that's DELF. And we do not have anything called DELF C1. That's DALF C1. So again, I would repeat: DELF A1, DELF A2, DELF B1, DELF B2, DALF C1, DALF C2. Okay. So today, if you feel that, okay, I'm ready for my A1 examination, you go and you register yourself for DELF A1 examination and you get your certification for A1 level, which proves that you have an A1 level of knowledge. Okay. In each of the examination, DELF A1, DELF A2, DELF B1, DELF B2, any of the examination, you are judged on all the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay. Starting from A1 till C2. Let's say tomorrow, if you feel that I am good to go for A2, I have that knowledge of A2, you can go and register for yourself for your DELF A2 examination. Then similarly for DELF B1, similarly for DELF B2. But in TEF, you do not have anything known as TEF A1 or TEF A2 or TEF B1 or TEF B2. No, that is one single examination for all the levels. So in TEF examination, you have the questions starting from A1 till C2. You have the questions of all the levels. Depending upon the type of questions you attempt, depending upon your score you get, you are rewarded your level. So that means it's not you who has to decide your level, that, okay, you are at A1 level. No, the level is rewarded by them. It's not decided by you. Okay. So just now I told you that DELF or DALF examination, you can choose a level as per your proficiency level. But in TEF, they reward your level. The validity, or another difference is that validity of TEF is 2 years. Okay. But the validity of DELF or DALF examination, that never expires. Okay. So that's a lifelong certificate that you have. But for TEF, the validity is 2 years. But for your Canadian immigration, the exam that they ask is TEF. That's not DELF. Okay. So I think that most of the students who are there with us, they are looking for Canadian immigration. So they have to appear for TEF examination and not DELF. Okay. No, Anu. It is not like, so Anu has asked a question. We have to clear these DELF examinations level first to get qualifying for attempting TEF. No, there's nothing like that. Although in my live classes, yes, I recommend students to do at least DELF A1, DELF A2, DELF B1. I ask them so that, they have a certain level of confidence and they have a certain level of confidence and experience of giving a French test, because you've never given the French test. So if you've given your DELF examination, it actually eventually is preparing you for your TEF examination, but that's not required. No. Let's say a person who has never given DELF can also appear for TEF. There is no, as such a requirement. There is no eligibility criteria for that. No. Okay. Next. TEF and TCF exam in India. Okay. So in India, and I would say not just in India, all over the world, TEF and TCF examinations, they are conducted by different branches of Alliance Française. The network of Alliance Française is there all over the world. Okay. Talking about India, you have Alliance Française in majorly all the cities. Delhi, you have Bhopal, you have Mumbai, you have Ahmedabad, you have Pune, you have Chandigarh, you have Trivandrum, you have Lucknow. So, different Alliance Française are there, but not all the centers conduct all the examinations. Okay. So here, as far as my experience says, and upon my research, I have listed the center, and I'm really sure that these are the centers which conduct TEF, and these are the centers which conduct TCF. Okay. So TEF examinations is conducted by Alliance Francaise de Mumbai. In Mumbai, you have. In Bhopal, you have. In Ahmedabad, you have. In Chennai, you have. In Chandigarh, you have. In Hyderabad, you have. In Lucknow, you have. In Trivandrum, you have. Okay. It might be possible that other centers also conduct, but these are the centers which I know. Okay. Also, Alliance Francaise is also there in Delhi. Like, I reside in Delhi, so Alliance Francaise is also there in Delhi, but that center does not conduct TEF, that conducts TCF. So I actually had to travel to Bhopal to give my examination because I was more comfortable. I was more known to TEF examination and I wanted to appear for that. So I had to appear in the Bhopal center because the seats were only available there. Okay. So yeah, this one. And then TCF examination is conducted by Alliance Francaise de Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chandigarh, Trivandrum. Okay. Now the exam fees, talking about the examination fees. So that completely depends upon how many papers. So just now I told you there are 5 papers. Depending upon your purpose, you give different number of papers. Yeah. So exam fees, of course, depends upon the country from where you are giving in, the center where you are appearing in, and then also depending upon the number of papers you are giving. So let's say I appeared for TEF examination. So I gave 4 papers. Okay. So for I remember the fees was around 24,600 something. Yeah. So depending upon the number of papers, the fees is between 5,000 to 25,000, depending upon that. Okay. So you can say per paper, it is about 5,000 to 6,000 rupees. 6,000, I can say per paper. Okay. Per skill, let's say for the listening one, for the reading one. So since I appeared for 4 skills, I can say that I paid around 24,600. Okay. And I appeared in Alliance Francaise de Bhopal. So that's about the centers. Points to earn for Canada PR by TEF or TCF. For this, I would like to take you to the website where we can actually calculate the CRS score. That would give you the exact insight of how it is calculated. Okay. So this is the website. This is the official website. I'll just reorient this. This is the official website where you can calculate your CRS score for your Canadian immigration. So let's just calculate and we'll see how does it make the difference and how many points actually can you earn. Okay. I would say that before even explaining this, let me just explain you the 4 levels, 4 skills and what is the score that you get. So this is a website, Le Français des Affaires, which actually maps the level, the NCLC level, and then the score that you get. Okay. Starting with comprehension écrite. Okay. Comprehension écrite, that's your reading one. So can you see that you have different scores here? And you must have seen everywhere students say that we need a score of CLB 7. We need a score of CLB 7. So what is that CLB 7? Let me just explain. Okay. So starting from A1, you have till C2. Okay. A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2. So that's actually, you know what? In B1 also you have 2, 4 and 5. So that's actually B1 lower and that's B1 plus. This is also the lower B2. This is B2 plus. This is advanced B2. And then you have C1 and then C2 like that. So the level that they are asking you, that is this level, CLB 7. In all the 4 skills, you have to get at least a level of CLB 7 because only when you get a level of CLB 7 that you get those additional 50 points. Okay. So earlier, I think prior to 2021, these additional points were 30, but in 2021, they have revised it to 50 points. So if you clear TEF or TCF examination with a score of CLB 7, then you get those 50 additional points, which make a major difference. Okay. Let's say if you get 6 in any of the 4 skills, you get 6 or maybe you get 5, then you do not get those 50 additional points. So the thing that you're aiming for is this. Okay. So just now I told you that in reading 1, you have 50 questions and each question is 6 marks each. So the maximum score is 300. But the score that you have to get is not 300. What you are aiming is for a score between this 207 to 232. So that means you have chances of making mistakes. It's not that you know, out of 300 points, all of them should be correct. No, you have fair chances of even marking the answers incorrect. Okay. So this is B2 level. So basically you do not need B2, but you need a B2 plus level. Okay. Which is CLB 7. And this is the score. Okay. Then moving on to comprehension oral, which is your listening test. So again, B2 plus level is this. And the score that you're aiming for is this out of 360, because here you get 60 questions and each question is 6 marks each. So maximum marks is 360, but what you are aiming for is this. Okay. Now next, moving on to written expression, expressio écrite, which is your writing test. Out of 450, you get marks, but the thing that you are aiming for is this again. Okay, of course, the more the better, but the thing that you are aiming for is this. Okay, and then expressio oral, which is your speaking test. Again, you get marks out of 450, and the level that you are aiming for is this. Okay, so that's about the mapping. Now let's move on to the website where you can actually calculate the CRS score. Let me show you how does it make the difference. Okay, so I'm just marking few questions just like that. Let's say, what is your marital status? Single, let's say. How old are you? Anything, let's say 30 years. That doesn't make any difference in the thing that I want to show. Let's say, what is your level of education? Let's say bachelor's degree. Have you earned a Canadian degree, diploma? No. Let's say official languages. Let's say the first one is IELTS. Okay. So for IELTS, let's say I am just entering the score just like that. Okay. And then the second one, if you see, you have both the options. You have TEF Canada also, and then you have TCF Canada also. Okay. So let's say I'm explaining you the TEF Canada. So let's just do this. Now, moving on to the mapping here, since you need a CLB score, CLB 7. So let's map it here. In speaking was the last one. Expressio oral. So the level that you want is this 310 to 348. So let me just enter 310 to 348. Okay. Now the listening one. Listening is this comprehension oral. So this is 249 to 279. I'm just entering CLB 7 to show you how do you get the points. Then reading. Reading is this 207 to 232. Okay. And then in the writing one, 310 to 348. Okay. So I've just entered that. Then work experience, let's say no. Let's say 3 years or more. Okay, no. Do you have a valid job offer? Let's say no. No. Let's say your spouse. I'm just marking no. You can enter as per your needs, and then let's just calculate the score. Okay. And what I want to show you is, see, for the French language skills, the points that you get is 50. That's additional, that's additional 50 points. But per level also, for the listening, for the speaking, for the reading, for the writing, you get 3 marks each. So 3 multiplied by 4. If you get CLB 7 in all the 4 skills, then you get 3 marks per skill also. So if you see over here, for second official language, you have got 12 points. So actually, if you get a score of CLB 7. So total points that you get is 50 additional points plus 12 these points. So that means it makes a difference of 62 points in your file. And that's a major difference. And if I show you, let's reduce this by any of one scores. Let's say in the speaking, you have got a little lower level. So I can show you that here you do not get. Let me just calculate the score again. And I'll show you that you no more get the 50 additional points. See, that is gone. 50 additional points is gone. But yes, you get some points. For second official language, you get 10 points. For the second official language, because you have a certain level. Certain level you have. Yes, you do not have CLB 7, but you have certain level. So you get that 3 points, 4 points, or 10 points. But the major difference comes from those 50 points that you get only when you have CLB 7 in all the 4 skills. How long does it take to clear TEF or TCF examination? So, of course, we all need at least a score of CLB 7 for gaining those additional 50 points in any of TEF or TCF or TEFaQ or TEFaQ, TCFQ, any of these examination. CLB 7. Now, students ask me that what is this level? Just now I told you that CLB 7 is more or less equivalent to B2 level. So that's B2 plus level. Okay. Now, generally, it takes about 200 to 250 hours of classroom studies. That's what the site says, and which is true also. It takes about 1 to 1.5 years of your classroom studies, which if you map it to number of hours, I would say 200 to 250 hours of your classroom studies are required if you want to clear this examination with CLB 7. Okay, it's a new language. Imagine that you have appeared for your IELTS, you have been speaking since your childhood. Okay, now you cannot just, it cannot just happen overnight. Yeah. So this much classroom studies are required. Let me just tell you my story before I move to what are the courses that we offer and how we at Learn French by Suchita, we help you. Before that, I would like to share my story. When did I appear? What were my results and all that? Okay. So I appeared for TEF Canada examination in the year 2021. Okay. So that means in the year 2023, this year, my score would expire. Okay. But that's another story. I did not appear for this examination for my Canadian immigration. No, I appeared for helping my students in a better way. Okay. So I appeared for TEF examination in Alliance Française de Bhopal. Okay. Because I reside in Delhi and the Delhi Center, Alliance Française de Delhi, does not conduct TEF. So that was out of question. Now the nearest centers were 2. Either it was Chandigarh, then it was Bhopal. So the Chandigarh centers, I was, keeping a check upon them that do they have seats? Do they have seats? They did not have any seats. The only place which was left for me is Alliance Française de Bhopal. They principally, if you look at their website, generally you find the seats over there. Okay. So that was the story that I landed up in Alliance Française de Bhopal. Number 1. What were my results? So in 4 sections, in the reading one, in comprehension écrite, I scored a level of CLB 7, exactly CLB 7, which was B2 plus level. Then in there was a mistake that I did. I would share that later. Then in the speaking test, which was expression orale, I scored a level of C1. Then in the writing test, in expression écrite, I got C2. That was a perfect score. I got C2. And then in the listening test, I got C1. Okay, that was comprehension orale. I got C1. So in 2 sections, I got C1. In one of the sections, I got writing section, I got C2. And then in the reading section, I got B2. The reason I got B2, I tell you what. I attempted the paper very systematically, starting from question number 1 till question number 50. So, there were some longer questions which appear in the middle. So there is a strategy to how do you attempt the paper. You have to attempt the shorter questions first. So what happened that since I could not complete 50 questions in 1 hour. So there were 2-3 passages which I completely left because I was out of time. It's not like that I did not know it, or were they very difficult? No, it was like I did not attempt the paper strategically. So once you appear for the paper, then you get to know all the tips and tricks. Yeah. So knowledge is something else. Having a knowledge is something else. Delivering a knowledge is something else. And then appearing for the paper is altogether a different thing. Oh, okay. Why I am qualified to train you. So these are my qualifications, I can tell. So I cleared my DALF C1 long back. I cleared from Alliance Française de Delhi, but in Alliance Française de Delhi they did not have C2 level that time. DALF C2 they did not have. So till 2019, I used to stay in France. I was actually teaching English to the French students over there. So there in Alliance Française de Paris, I appeared for my DALF C2 examination. So I have cleared from A1 till C2, all the levels. Then just now I told you that I have also cleared my Alliance Française. I have also cleared my TEF examination from Alliance Française de Bhopal. Then regarding my degrees, I have done my MA in French from Delhi University, GRS department, Delhi University. And I did my graduation from GRS department, Delhi University, and I did my MA French from the same department. Okay. Then finally, I did my French language training, as in how to teach the language. I learned it from LSI Institute, Paris, when I was there in Paris. Okay. Now, regarding my experience, I have taught more than 9,000 plus students from 25 plus countries. So we have actually have students from all the countries. We have students from Malaysia, from India, of course. We have students from Dubai, from Canada, majorly all the countries, from Arab countries, majorly we have from all the countries, Singapore. So it's a complete diverse class, I would say. Also, we not only provide the live classes, but we have the pre-recorded sessions also, which are there, which are listed on the website, www.learnfrenchbysuchita.com. There are pre-recorded sessions also. There are students who say that the timings do not suit us, or maybe we are more comfortable with the pre-recorded sessions because we can learn as per our comfort. So we have that also. Then Fortunately, I'm India's most followed French language instructor with more than 2 lakh subscribers on our YouTube channel. Now it is soon going to hit 2.5 lakh subscribers on YouTube. And then specifically, if you ask me for TEF Canada preparation, then I have trained more than 700 students till now in last 5.5 years. And we have collaboration with India's most prestigious schools and colleges. I go there, I give my webinars, seminars. So we have collaborations with them also. That's about my qualification and that's about my experience. If you have any questions, you can ask me at the end. Okay. Now, for the students who are interested about knowing our upcoming batch details, our upcoming batch is going to start from 1st of June, which is Thursday. I'm just going to give you the details of that. Now, talking about the classes, we have classes thrice a week. Okay, actually it is 4 times a week, but let me just explain you. It is thrice a week. So it is Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. 124 hours of classes covered in 6 months. But here, this is very important. 2 months of prerequisite courses. This is mandatory. And this is how should I explain you the importance of doing the prerequisite courses? Students ask me just now, today morning, we got a call from a student who is there. I would not like to name the person who just said that, batch starts from 1st of June. Then, oh, it's really far. No, that's not far. Any batch, any live batch you join with us, you have to join 2 months in advance. So it's not 1st of June that's the batch is beginning. It's 2 months prior. So, you require time for doing those prerequisite courses, and they are actually very intensive courses. I'm going to just guide you that what are those prerequisite courses. So your classes do not actually start from 1st of June. They start from today itself. Okay. And the importance of prerequisite courses, generally, I have seen that students realize when the live classes begin. There are students who join the classes at the very end. We explain them that, doing the prerequisite courses is a mandate. You have to do them. But, they say that, no, ma'am, we will do that. We'll cover it. We'll put extra amount of efforts. And then when the live classes start, they say that, Suchita, you are running. No, it's not that I am running. It's that the students have not done the prerequisite courses. Okay, so 2 months of prerequisite courses is a mandate. Okay, then 6 months of attending regular classes, which are going to begin from 1st of June. That would require, regular participation, attending the regular classes, participating in the dialogue classes, submitting homeworks on time. That requires all these things. Okay. And then at the end of the session, I provide you with certain resources. That these are the resources that you have to follow for your TEF examination preparation. That also takes about 2 months. That's also that's completely a subjective thing. But I took 2 months for the exam preparation. So I say that, 2 months of your self-exam preparation through those resources. So actually, that's not 6 months. That's 6 plus 2 plus 2. That's actually 10 months of preparation. Students also ask me that, when Canadian website that says that it takes about 1 to 1.5 years, then how are you preparing the students in 6 months? First of all, that's not 6 months. That is 6 months of regular classes. People forget 2 months of prerequisite also. And then I am saying that 2 months of self-practice. So that's actually 10 months. And the batch that you are going to join, if at all you are planning to join, that's actually a fast track course. Because most of the calls that we receive from people, they say that they do not have that much time to prepare, or maybe they are, because the older you grow, the negative marks that you get in your file. And then there are some students who say that my IELTS score is expiring, so I have to give the exam soon. So this examination is for the people who are aiming to clear the examination in a shorter duration. Okay. Now, of course, if you are doing something which has to be done in 1 to 1.5 years, you are doing it in 6 months or maybe 10 months, of course you will have to double or triple your efforts. And my expectation is, apart from attending the regular classes, you have to devote at least 3 hours of time on daily basis for your self-study. That self-study that can go in doing the homework. I give you a lot of homework. I have students right now in my webinar also. I can see that there are so many students who are there in my live classes, and they know that how much amount of homework do I give. Okay. And then listening activities, and then speaking dialogue sessions, and then write-ups that you have to submit. So there are so many things. So if you are joining this particular batch with us, then prepare your mind that apart from classes, you have to devote at least 3 to 4 hours of your time in your classes. Okay. Yeah. So Harshita is there with us. Harshita, you are there in the latest batch. So she has just messaged that it's totally worth it. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Okay. So yeah, I was telling you about the classes, frequency of classes. So the classes happen on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have written for the upcoming batch, which is starting from 1st of June. For Thursday, the timings are 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. Then Saturday and Sunday, it is going to be 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. IST. We have kept the timings, keeping in mind that most of the people who join with us, they are working professionals. Okay. Saturday and Sunday are free for them. And then on Thursday, we have kept the timings to be 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. Then the speaking class. Okay. So actually, that's 4 times a week. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday are the classes where I teach. They are core 2 hours of teaching classes. And then speaking class. How do I conduct speaking classes? So let's say there are 20 people in the group. I'm just giving you an example. So let's say there are 20 people in the group. So what do? I make groups of 2. So if there are 20 people in the group, then actually there are in the class of, let's say if there are 20 people, actually you will have 10 groups. Okay. So each week I assign them a situation which they have to prepare with their partner at home as a part of homework. And then on Wednesday, which is the speaking session, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., they have to present it turn by turn. Okay. And then when you have presented the dialogue, then you can log out, because that's not the class where I teach you. That's the class where I listen to you. And I point out the mistakes that, okay, this is the place where you went wrong. This is the place where you went wrong. And the charges for the complete course is 44,999. Okay. So these are the charges. Okay. What all you will get? Preparation for French TEF TCF examination. Curriculum of, so what all do I cover? What level do I cover? Basically, I cover A1, A2, B1, and the topics of B2, which come in your examination. So actually, if I talk about the French grammar, then the grammar is taught only till B1, because you do not have grammar after that. So majorly all the grammar is done till B1. After that, in B2, C1, and C2, they actually tell you how to use more beautiful connectors, how to beautify your language. These are the things that they actually tell you how to polish your language. Okay. So, but our course is actually, I cannot even say B2, but I also prepare you for C1 and C2 also, because when we solve the sample papers of TEF, I would say we solve the questions of all the levels. Okay. Then complete 6 months of access to course updates, fast and friendly support. So if you have any questions, then my manager Megha, who has the WhatsApp number, which is 8920060461. I'm going to just write that in the chat section. So you can connect with Megha. She will always answer your doubts. Talking about the certificate, when you're done with the course with us, we provide you with the course completion certificate, online, of course. Now talking about the prerequisite courses and what all courses do I provide you, let me just take you to my website. Okay. So now look at the website. We actually have 3 websites. The official website is this only. The main website is learnfrenchbysuchita.com. If you go to all courses over here, there are different courses. Okay. So the course that I was talking about, that the people who do not want to join the live classes with us, they can opt for this course. Okay. Now talking about the prerequisite courses, let me just take you to the next website, which is learnfrenchbysuchita.thinkific.com. People think that learnfrenchbysuchita.thinkific.com and learnfrenchbysuchita.com, they are same websites. No, they are different. Okay. Now let's just go to all courses. Okay. So here I'll explain you what are the prerequisites. So there are 3 courses if you see over here: French speaking and communication course, French grammar course, and then French beginners course. Okay. So all these are paid courses, first of all. Okay. But if you are joining the live classes with us, you get them complimentary. You do not have to pay anything extra for that. Okay. So talking about the prerequisite, you actually have to start with this course, French speaking and communication course, which actually, if I take you to the contents of this course actually explains you about the pronunciation, about the phonetics of the language. Like, for example, when you learned English, you learned that, okay, CH is ch, okay, TION is shun, double O is O. These were the phonetics. And then now when any new word appears in front of you, you can just break it and you can just pronounce it. Similarly, French also has phonetics. And then there are certain accents that you have in French. So what is the role of each accent? This course explains you that. Number 2, which is the beginner's course. Okay. Here you have all the videos starting from A1 level. So alphabet, salutations, numbers, days of the week, months of the year, verbs, how do you say the telephone number, indefinite articles, plural, all these things are there. Okay. So these 2 are prerequisite courses. You have to start with this course. When you're done, watch all the videos sequentially. When you're done with this course, then you have to move to this course, which is the beginner's course. And then again, watch the video sequentially. These 2 courses are prerequisite. Doing this course is not required. You know why? Because all the videos which are there in the grammar course, they're already there in the beginner's course. Okay. So if you have done the beginner's course very properly, then grammar course is automatically covered. Yeah. So you do not have to do this course. So French speaking but you get this course also. So French speaking and communication course, and then the beginner's course we provide you. These courses are mandatory. Just now I explained you that, you have to do them, and it takes about 1.5 to 2 months to do them. Okay. That's the reason I conducted the webinar today, because so that you have that much time. If you are planning for 1st June classes, then you have that much time to prepare. Then talking about this, so you get in the cost that we are charging 45,000 from you. So all these courses are included. So they themselves is 20,000. Okay. Then on tef.thinkific.com, that's another website that we have. If you go to all courses, you have certain recordings of different batches, and you have certain recordings on learnfrenchbysuchita.com also. Okay. If you go to the last page, these are all the batches which I have taken till now. Okay, so TEF March, then January, then June, then September, then this is also January 2022, then May, then August, then November. And then the latest one that I started was in the month of March. So it has just 8 lessons because that has just started, March 2023 batch. So you also get the recordings of previous TEF batch. Okay, so that if you want to, let's say in these 2 months, if you have already done these 2 courses, which I just explained you, then you can start doing, you can start practicing, you can start doing the TEF course itself from your past batch recordings. So that also you get, that itself is 20,000. The cost for each one of them is 20,000. And then apart from this, you also get the recordings of your present batch. Okay. Present batch, that means the batch which you will be part of. There are students who say that, Suchita, not every time we can be present for the live class. Yes, there, and I understand that, emergency occurs with everyone. Not everyone can attend the class every time. So for that, to solve that problem, we provide you with the recordings of all the classes, whether you are present, whether you are absent. Regarding the validity of courses, this is also very important. People ask me, what is the validity of all the courses? So, the validity of these 3 courses, which are the prerequisite courses, and the validity of previous TEF batch recordings, that's till the end of the batch with us. Okay. But the recordings of your own batch will be there with you till 2 years. So the validity of present batch recordings is 2 years from the starting of the batch. And all other courses, because these are pretty basic courses, these are A1-ish. Okay, you won't even require them after you're done with your prerequisite courses, and after 1 month of live classes, you won't require them because this is pretty basic. Okay, but safer side, we have provided you the access till the end of the batch with us. But for your own batch recordings, you will have till 2 years the validity. So just now I explained to you what is the validity of different courses. Okay. For every other course, the validity is till the end of the batch with us, but for your own batch recordings, the validity is 2 years. Moving on to the next one. Can you pay in installments? That's also one of the questions. So you can, pay in 2 installments. First installment, which you have to pay right now, or whenever you want to register. Post that, you get access to the prerequisite courses. Okay. The beginners course, the grammar course, and the phonetics course, you get the access to those. And 50% amount you have to pay in the end of the batch is going to begin from June, so in the end of May 2023. So people ask that, can we pay after, can we pay 50% of the amount when the batch begins? Oh, it's not possible. We have provided you all the, recorded material. That itself is more the amount that you have paid. So you have to clear the amount before the beginning of the batch. So you have 2 options. Either you can pay whole amount in advance. Post that, you get access to the prerequisite courses, and also you will get access to the previous TEF batch recordings also. But if you're paying in installments, 50% right now, 50% in the end of May 2023, then you get access to the prerequisite courses only, which is beginners course, and then phonetics course, and then the grammar course. Because out of them, 2 courses are prerequisite. The previous TEF batch recordings are not prerequisite. Okay, so you can pay in 2 installments. Who all should join this batch? All those people, of course, who are preparing for this examination, TEF, TCF, TCFQ for Canadian immigration. Then the people who are aiming to shift to any Francophone country. Just now I explained you for getting the French passport, for getting the French citizenship, if you want that. Or if you are going even for, for any French taught program in any of the Francophone countries, those people also can join the batch. Then number 3, the people who are willing to learn French language till advanced level in a shorter duration, they also can join the batch. And the people who are, of course, aiming to make a career in the French language, they also can join the batch. And here is the payment link. I'll just put the payment link in the chat section. So here, the payment link that I am giving you here, you can make the payment only, just give me 1 second. Let me just, only in one go. But if you're looking for making the payment in installment, okay, here is the link. I have just copied the link here. You can follow this link, and when you're done with the payment, you can contact Megha for providing you the prerequisite courses. And also, I'm sharing the WhatsApp number. Please do not call her. She doesn't pick up the call. We take up the queries only through WhatsApp. I have also shared the WhatsApp number. And yes, I will just share my email ID also in case you want to write anything through emails. Then I'm going to share my email ID as well. Yeah. So yes, for the people who want to make the payment through installments, then you can contact Megha for that. She's going to provide the bank details, or maybe Google Pay details, or Phone Pay details, whatever you want. She'll provide you the details, because following this link, you can make the payment only in one go. Okay, and then you must be seeing that here the amount that is mentioned is 45,999, because if you pay through Razor Pay, then you have to pay 2% of 2% additional transactional amount. Okay, so that is why it is reflecting 45,000. Yeah, 45,999 it is showing. But if you want to avoid that, if you do not want to pay through that, if you do not want to pay 2% extra transactional charge, then you can again contact Megha. She'll provide you the bank details. You can directly do the NEFT, or you can pay through Google Pay or Phone Pay or whatever. Okay, so this is about this. And then now let me just take up your questions. Please go ahead and shoot your questions. Go ahead. Okay, how many students are there in a batch? Principally, I can say 25 to 30 students in a batch. So if one pays by credit card, there is no way to avoid 2% charges. No, Aziz, no. In that case, you will have to pay. If you're paying by card, then you will have to pay 2% transactional charge. My question is, just want to ask you, do we need any other resource after taking this course live specific for exam practice? No need to. I provide you with absolutely everything, all the resources. You will say that, oh my God, I have so many books, so many resources I have. I don't think you will require anything apart from that. I don't think. But yes, maybe one or few books you will require, but then ebooks we provide you. If you want, you can take the printouts of that also, or else if you want to buy the physical copy of the book, that is also. But that is not too much. That's $1,000. That's $1,500. Not too much. Akshara says, I am currently in B2 level. I want to understand if you can take up the session particularly. Akshara, actually, I get a lot of queries for this, that I already have B2 level, and I want to do the preparation only for TEF. I would be happy to help, but the problem is I do not have the time slots available for that. I really do not have time. My schedule is so tight, so packed up, that I do not have. I would have been more than happy to take up some extra batches, but I do not have time for that. I'm so sorry. Can we improve our score in any one particular module if we are getting low score in any one? Or if we have to, no. Tina, if you do not get score in any of the one modules, if you get low score in any of the one modules, you will have to appear for all the 4 modules again. You cannot just appear for that particular module. No, that's not possible. If I follow religiously and dedicate my time as per your advice, then can I achieve a level that can get highest point of PR? Absolutely yes, a big yes. For the June batch and prerequisite, until when the registration slot is open? It is registration slot are open till the last date, 30th May. You can join at the last date also, but it's you who will suffer. You know why? Because prerequisite courses are required. So sooner you join, more time you have for doing the prerequisite courses. So that with me, there is no last date of registration. No. Okay. Now, yes, there was one more question which I wanted to answer. Student asked me that do we have any interviews wherein people have, just give me 1 second. So there are 2 interviews which I posted. One is with Rajiv, who was from Dubai, who appeared for his TEF examination. And what was his score? You can just follow the time tags also. I have provided the time tags. There are certain questions here. And then there was a student. There are, of course, so many students who keep on clearing their examinations, but of course, I cannot post the interviews with all of them. So this was also one of Rashmi, who has recently cleared her TEF examination. And she has shared some beautiful resources. And you can, again, you have some time tags here. You can just follow them. Okay. Can we speak from the starting of the course? Because I have taken 3. No. Can we speak from the starting of the course? Because I've taken classes for 3 months and still, no need to. In our classes, I start speaking from the very first week. I can show you the proof also. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So see, if you see the latest batch, just after 3 classes, we conducted the first class, which was dialogue conversation. And then the next one is going to, after every 3 classes, you have dialogue conversation. So starting from week 1 onwards, we conduct speaking classes. And thank you so much for being there.